Look at my Malik sweatshirt. Hello, my name is Coco, and today I thought I'd tell you about some books I want to reread. So there's three categories here. Books that are my favorites that I love and I want to just devour again. Books I need to read to keep up, so sequels and series that I need to read books previous to keep up with, and then everything else, basically. So starting with favorites, and I have all of these books because they are my favorites, I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, Looking for Alaska by John Green. Can you tell I'm a John Green fan? And then The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. So these are my favorite books of all time, and I just love them, and I always want to reread them. And actually, when I started reading Turtles All the Way Down, I decided I was going to start highlighting some of my favorite quotes from books. I don't know why I always had such a thing against like highlighting or writing in books before. I don't know, it's just a thing I had. So now, if you can see that, there we go. I've been like highlighting in my books. So I want to start doing that in those as well. Hang on, do I have it here? Yeah, I do have it here. So when I was reading The Picture of Dorian Gray, I did that as well because there's some really amazing quotes in here. And so I started highlighting in these as well. Can I find one? Yeah. So I was highlighting in this book as well, and I want to go back through Looking for Alaska and The Count of Monte Cristo again to do that because there's some really stunning quotes in these too as well. Books that I want to reread to keep up with the sequels and the series and everything, first of all, is literally everything by Rick Riordan because I started reading them when I was like in the 6th grade, 5th grade maybe, and then just went, and then eventually at some point just kind of dissipated, and I do really want to read all of his books, and I want to keep up with everything that's going on, so I need to start and reread everything that he's written, pretty much. So, anything by Rick Riordan, basically. Another book I need to read again to keep up is The House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. So, I read this book in the 6th grade for Battle of the Books, which is this competition where teams compete to see who knows the most about this book, and they would be questions like, who was this person's 2nd grade teacher, or like, what did this person give that person for their 8th birthday or something, and you'd have to know that. And I never knew there was a sequel, and I really want to read it because I remember really liking House of the Scorpion. So I need to reread that, because I remember nothing about it, except I think there's like a little boy who was looking out a window all the time, and there were other little kids, and there was like opium involved, and like someone died? Okay, on to the everything else category. The first book I want to reread just in general is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I read this in the 5th grade because I had to do a book report and we got to choose our book, and my mom made me do Pride and Prejudice, and I haven't read it since, so it's been 7 or 8 years since I've read Pride and Prejudice. I also really loved the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, so I really want to read this again because I know nothing about it anymore. I know the first line. I also want to reread the Twilight saga by Stephanie Meyer. Another book that I read because my mom made me, but I read it in literally the 3rd grade. I was 7, and it was just, hey, they're selling them at Costco, and your family friend who was like 5 years older than you really liked it, so you should read it. So I read the entire Twilight saga when I was 7. I read halfway through the first book and got nightmares about vampires. This is how young I was, okay? Honestly, like, it was a fun thing to read, but it was nothing special that stuck with me. And so I don't remember anything about it, as well as another series where it's like they played baseball or something. Like, that's what I know about the Twilight saga at this point. There are vampires and they played baseball at some point, and they had like a little half-daughter, right? Not half-daughter, like half vampire, half human daughter. I don't know what I'm saying, but like that is all I know about it. So, oh, and they glitter. See? This is how much I know about it because I read it 10 years ago. So that is another book that I really want to reread. Well, books that I want to reread because it's been so long, and also because there's been a lot of discourse on the series and what they mean and stuff, but I was literally 7, so I had no opinion on these big matters, and I do want to reread it and kind of see, now that I'm older, what I think about the series and stuff like that. Last book on this list that I want to reread, because I'm assuming that there are books that I just haven't thought of, but I do want to reread, is really strange, but it's Inside the Magic Kingdom by Tom Connellan. So this book is all about how Disney is so successful, pretty much, and it's really fascinating to read, and it talks about all these different things and how the upkeep and stuff, and I just want to read it again now that I'm going into university. And also, wow, okay, that is my actual face color. This is how washed out natural lighting makes me. Why are you doing this? Sun, why are you like this? This is how dark I am. Oh my god. Okay, do you see that? Oh my god. I'm fine, I'm just having a freak out about the sunlight. But I really enjoyed this book, and it was really interesting to read. So, Inside the Magic Kingdom. That was the list of books that I could think of in the last week that I want to reread. I'm sure there's more, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you sometime. Goodbye.